Hi guys, it's Jason with Hortus, and today we are going to be starting our journey with starting the Protea seed. I have with me a little shot glass here from Hydro Farm. This is actually going to be very useful for me in terms of measuring. I don't have like the particular measurements. I will at some point in the description, but this is typically how I would go about getting the preparations for stratifying the seed and getting it ready for planting. So ahead of time, I had my Hickory liquid smoke solution that was already included into this vessel of water here. This is actually hot water, and there is liquid smoke that I put in there. It's about half of a shot glass. Again, exact measurements will be mentioned later. The reason why it's not here on the table is because it actually smells very pungent, and we're indoors right now. And so I just want to make sure that, you know, for everyone's sanity, that everything's localized here for that. All right, guys, so this is the liquid smoke here. This is from the Wrights company. This is particularly the one that was mentioned in a lot of the growing papers. The Hickory flavored Wrights or some other companies will source this type of liquid smoke that you can find in the supermarkets. And yeah, you know, we went ahead and did this ahead of time just because it's actually a really strong smelling product right now. So it's gonna go somewhere else. The next item that I typically focus upon is this one here. It's called Infuse. It's a systemic fungicide that's going to prevent dampening off, and then also any powdery mildew or any other bacterial or fungal diseases that might happen during the early stages of your germination. So I'm going to go ahead and open this here, and I will be typically doing, and I give it a good shake. Tends to have some sediment in there. So I fill it up to about the highest line that's on this one, at least. This one's graduated. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in. And so the reason why I'm using liquids is because it's a systemic, and so having it in liquid form absorbs it better. And last time when I was doing this, I used granulars, and it was fine, but it got really messy. So having it in a liquid form just makes it easier for everything. Next thing here, this is vitamin B1. This is going to help provide an extra bit of hormone activity and also some extra source of, you know, hardiness for the seeds when they're popping out. So I only do about half for this one. So we're going to add that to our solution here, and we're going to go ahead and give them a mix. So I think I have the cap somewhere behind over there, so we're just gonna grab that really quick. Okay, give that a secure seal there, and there we go. We have a nice strong smoke solution. This is gonna be a lot stronger than any of your seed primers that you're gonna see out there on the internet. The Cape seed primers, those are great, but they can be a little expensive at times, and oftentimes they will lose their effectiveness over the course of time. So with this, you always have a fresh batch with you. You want to make sure that this is warm. Again, this is very important in helping it get into the seed. So the next step is that we're going to be filling up these pouches, and we're going to let them sit for 24 hours. All right, guys, so we just skipped ahead just a little bit. We needed a little tray to help hold everything. So my first seed packet is the Protea grandiceps. So the way that I would fill it is, you want to have enough so that the seeds are floating in the water, but you don't need it filling up halfway or anything. This is just a simple sandwich bag that I am using. You don't need anything fancy. You know, these were a dime a dozen. So I'm gonna go ahead, and what I do is I roll the bag back to push out all the air, and then I'm gonna go ahead and seal it. There we go. Make sure your bag is not leaking. That's very important. If it is, just, you know, switch it out immediately. What you see here, everything is in. Make sure none of the seeds are up here, that everything is sitting in the water nice, and it's gonna get started on soaking up all that water. So then I'm gonna go ahead and set that right there. Alrighty guys, we're back. We just filled up all of the bags here. This is Protea Nana. They're all gonna be sitting in this solution for exactly 24 hours, maybe a little longer. Especially as this cools down, you wanna make sure that it's getting sufficient time to really soak into everything. And so you can see based on the mixture that I just did, this is quite a bit. You can still do another essentially group of seed with the amount of materials that I use. I'm probably going to be using this to treat some other seeds that I have hanging around. But for right now, this particular project, we have everything soaking, and we will touch base tomorrow, and we're going to get on to the next step, which is going to be sowing them. Thanks, guys.